Hello everyone, my name is Kurazar, and welcome back to the Vintage Story Guide. We are back in the world on this blustery, blizzardy day, and I have been busy between episodes. I took a look at our house and decided it was getting way too cluttered, so I've organized things and put everything into labeled chests. I spent most of the nights either grinding things in the quern, or making plates out of milled chocos for lanterns. I also managed to smelt up a little bit more glass so I could put the glass sides in the lanterns. But in our last episode, we explored what things we could do with our newfound ability to cut wood into boards and to make all manner of things with them. And we're going to kind of continue that a bit today, but we're not going to do it from the safety and comfort of our own home, mostly. No, instead, I want to get into raising animals. And to that end, I have marked out a place here where I want to build a small barn. Now there are three kinds of animals that you can tame, or at least capture and breed in Vintage Story. We have the bighorn sheep, which I'm sure you've seen me kill a few of around here. We have wild hogs, which we haven't really seen many of. And there are chickens, which I think we've heard, and I think we've killed a couple early on in the series, but we haven't seen much of them aside from the occasional cluck in the forest. So today, I want to explore some of the new materials we have that we can use for building structures, because we made our original house out of mostly dirt and clay. Nothing we have here, aside from maybe these shutters, required any pickaxe for building. All of these mud bricks over here are made of dirt, grass, and clay. This cobblestone is stone pieces and clay. The roof is clay. These beams and supports are just plain old logs. And even these fences were made with the axe and logs instead of the saw. I also want to momentarily showcase a new mod for the series, but a returning one for me. There was a mod that had been supported up through 1.15, and the original mod author has not touched it in a while, and it recently got picked up again by Novocain. The mod is called Volumetric Lighting by Miclo, and I wanted to show it because it makes the game just look and run better. It has a few visual tweaks, but also some performance improvements. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it on YouTube with their compression, but I was able to turn on the SSAO that makes sort of the corners of block intersections look a little shadowy. It gives them some depth. And if you look at certain blocks, like say around this quern, you can see that this corner here is a bit darker and just lends a little bit more life to a scene. So animals, how do we get them and what do we do with them? Well, the first step involves troughs and food. So we're going to make ourselves a couple troughs here, and we're going to go and get some really cheap food from our basement that I've been storing. The best food, in my opinion, is flax grain because it isn't very valuable to us. It only provides 30 saturation, and when cooked into a meal or made into bread, its saturation is less than any other grain in the game. And troughs, as you may have guessed, are made using planks, which we of course recently got access to. So let's make a few of those. And large troughs are made with a 5-board bucket shape, just minus the string on top. And we're going to make 2 of those. There are small troughs, and they are made with 3 boards in this sort of V shape, and they are specifically for chickens. Now today, because chickens are a sort of different animal that needs different things than Highland sheep and boars, we are not going to really work on capturing any of those today because we need to make a coop that is farther away from the rest of our buildings than the barn needs to be. There are a few means of luring or chasing animals to your desired location. I am going to use the simplest, which is to lay out some troughs with food in them and let the animals come to us. Now I've been sort of working on this design for a barn for a little while in my head, and I'm going to go ahead and knock down some of this terrain here that's a little taller than I want it to be, and then I'll put in part of the floor, I'll lay our troughs out, and then we'll talk about the materials I want to use when building this. Shovels out. Okay. Terrain flattened, now for some floor. Okay, the initial flooring is complete. Let's put down these troughs here, and we'll see if we can lure any animals into them. And we're going to put a little bit of food. I'm thinking 4 portions of each. And you can do that by holding the food in your hand and just right-clicking. It uses 2 grain each time. And there are other foods you can put in here, things like turnips or parsnips or I think mash for making fruit juice and wine. We don't have any of those though, so we're going to go ahead and just use grain, because grain is pretty universal among all the animals as a well-liked meal. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to make a sort of one-way entrance into this by making this wall 2 blocks high and then putting a few sort of lips around here of 1 block high to give the animals a set of stairs to climb, and once they're in, they'll be stuck. And I hear a very nearby wolf. And there we go. If there are any sheep or pigs in roughly a 40 or 45 block radius, they will soon smell this grain and they'll start wandering toward it. And now that we're back inside, I wanted to pick up on something we started in the last episode, which is this leather processing. So last time we soaked this stack of 12 hides in lime water, and they are now ready for processing. So we now have 12 soaked hides. So we're going to go ahead and take these out, and in order to move them to the next stage, we must first scrape them with a knife. So put them in our crafting grid, grab our knife, and just pull them out. Then we come to our weak tannin barrel, right-click it, drop them in, and we will seal them for 3 days. This is not a short process. In the meantime, we have this other barrel of weak tannin that we started last episode, but this needs to be upgraded to strong tannin. So we are going to take 5 more oak logs, drop them in, and hit seal, and after 1 more day, this will become strong tannin and is the last stage in our tanning process. Now what to do about these 2 extra liters of lime water that we have? Well, we don't have a whole lot of space in this small house, and while some people like to store it or use it, so we could take 1 piece of small rawhide and throw it in that 2 liters of lime water and process it the whole way through, but that's an 8-day delay before we start our next project. And we're going to take this and close your eyes, I'm going to throw it out on the ground. Goodbye. I promise this will be temporary. I will stop doing this eventually. So we're going to start the process anew with 50 units of lime, or crushed limestone, into the water. We're going to grab, I think it's going to be all 8 of these hides, and we'll throw them in. In they go. Now, about our barn's build palette. I was thinking we can have some support beams made of oak. They have sort of a nice warm color compared to the very textured but sort of grayer walnut log that we used inside our house. And then I was thinking we could mix some granite cobblestone walls as sort of the main backing behind these pillars. And then I was thinking we could use some pine as the main barn walls, probably horizontal, which you can get by placing them on the side of a block, as well as for that interior floor that I did not cover in the strewn straw. And for the roof, I'm thinking something dark and rich. Slate, which you can get by placing 3 stacks of 3 slate stones each in this diagonal pattern, and 1 blue clay on the left there, and you get 2 slanted slate roofing. And there it is right there. It kind of has some of the warmth of the oak, but also a nice, rich, not quite black color to it. And then we'll have a few more accents of probably some other kinds of wood types for things like any fencing or windows we do. I'm also thinking that for the foundation, I would like to use a new stone that we have not really touched on yet, which is some polished granite. Now we will need full blocks of granite for that, and I don't have any at the moment. But in the morning, we'll go out and we'll take a look at a couple of these spires out here that stick up out of the ground, and we'll take 1 or 2 of them down and try to get enough slate for the foundation that I want to have sort of peeking up, because I want to also get into some more advanced chiseling and use of slabs in this build. So I'm going to go and bed down for the night, and I'll bring y'all back when it's light out and we can start gathering materials. But before bed, how about a bedtime story? I found a few pieces of bony soil lurking in one of my chests as I was reorganizing, and I found one more book. So we can sit down and read it together. Oh yeah, cover your ears. We got Demetri's Notes Part 4 of 5. I'll put them on screen so you can pause and read them if you want. And then I'll bring you back in the morning, for real this time. And good morning everyone, to this bright and early day, or I guess dim and early day. Let's get on the move because I want to get us some polished granite today, and I want to see if any animals were attracted to our bait in the night, and we'll get a move on this barn. Anybody in here? Nope, that's okay. So as far as gathering solid blocks of granite, I think we're going to come over again to this sort of spire over here, and we'll take this guy down first. And this sort of will actually serve two purposes, because I do eventually want to take these down anyway, because they're not really doing much for the landscape in my opinion. They're going to get in the way of some of the builds that I have planned for the future. So in order to take this down, I'm going to start at the top. Let's head up here, and we're going to probably burn through most of this shovel. You know what? For easier seeing for you guys, I'm going to keep this lantern in hand. It generally isn't a good idea to keep things in your offhand because it really cranks up your hunger rate. So if I switch this to my main hand, my hunger rate drops by 20%. But I have some very hearty meals on me, and I just ate one, so our hunger is going to sit still for quite a while. Something like, I don't know, 6 minutes. Let's get to it. And like that, one eyesore is gone. Now, it looks like we have a medium temporal storm approaching, so I'm not going to start this project right now. I'm going to go and offload some of these materials into our home, and then while we wait for the storm to approach, I want to show you something that I found while I was digging out some copper to make some replacement tools, and I found something in the ground, and I wanted to explore it with you all together. And actually, I misspoke. While I was out for copper, at the moment I was digging up some lead, but I found it right over here in our one area where we had those three sort of clustered lead deposits. Okay, it was right down here in this one, and I just spotted the corner. Here we go. This looks like the corner of some kind of room or something. So let's go tear it down. So let's see what this holds. Oh. What? Okay, we got some more wood. It's like a buried... Oh, here we go. Here's something else. Buried treasure. Okay. What have we got in here? Oh my goodness. We have a watering can. Alright. A straw dummy. It's kind of goofy. Ooh, 8 cabbage seeds. I've been waiting to find some cabbage seeds. We got some cattails. I've never seen any of that. We got some dry grass. We have 2 bee-nades. I will show you what the bee-nades do at some point, but yeah, not today. I'm gonna trash that. And is there anything else in here? I'm gonna pile of junk metal. Oh, it's turned into more of these metal parts. Cool. Anything else in here? I guess that's it. Okay, well that was quick. Cool. Well, let's get out of here. Let's get home. I'll toss this stuff in a chest, and we will prepare to meet this storm. I'll probably just ride it out in our little bunker, and I will bring you all back when that is over. I don't know if it's just me, but it always seems like just before a temporal storm, the world goes really quiet, as if it knows something horrible is about to happen. The wind dies, there's a particular music that plays in the hours before, and then it too goes away, and you just sort of are left with this silence. Is that intentional, or am I just sort of, is this just sort of observation bias? Well, as expected, that wasn't a particularly eventful temporal storm, but we did get a couple nice things. We got 1 temporal gear and 7 rusty gears from a double-headed drifter, and all in all we got 11 more flex fibers, so we can repair up our clothes a little bit in the future if we need to. Anyway, I will see you all in the morning, and we will continue working on our barn. And now that we have all of our stone and the temporal storm is over, we don't have quite enough oak logs to do what I want to do with the support beams, so we're going to go and engage in a bit of deforestation. It sounds horrible, but it's what we're going to do. We do not have enough room for this. Not by a long shot. Yeah, I didn't think so. I have to say, for a Stone Age starter house, I actually really like what we've done here. I really enjoy this little area. The wolves I could do without, but the rest of it, yeah. So yeah, we got something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 stacks of logs from that single oak tree. That is ridiculous. So we are going to be good on oak logs for our project. No problem. Okay, so the barn, which is still empty, but that's fine. And I'm thinking what we're going to do is something a little bit like this. We'll have sort of sections of 3 separated by these columns here. So 1, 2, 3, column. 1, 2, 3, column. 1, 2, 3, column. Now the ends will be different. We just have sort of 1 on the end and 1 in the center, which actually still makes 3, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yes, it does. Okay. So I was thinking something like that, and we'll build sort of one section of this to show you what it looks like, and then I'll finish off the rest of the build with some discussion along the way if I run into any snags or new ideas. Okay, so what I was thinking was we go up. Oop, we get more oak logs. It sure is dark out these days. And then we'd have our walls inset here a bit. There we go. And I was thinking that these inner walls would be stone, but we'd also have some pine planks, like so. But I also wanted to have these stone walls kind of have a little arch over here. And to do that, we can get into what's called multi-block chiseling. When you chisel a block, you can do more than just modify a single block like we did over there. So what you can do if you want to have a block that contains more than one type of block inside it, if you place the block, like say so, so we can lay these out, and if we tap both of them with our chisel, boop, boop, we now have 2 chiselable blocks. And then we can pick them up, and in our inventory we can combine them into one. So now we have granite cobblestone that won't stack with other cobblestone, but if we place it, we can then first chisel away the things we don't want, like all of this, and then in its place we can use the F key, or in my case the L key, to then reintroduce this. Now we have the start of an arch over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with this guy, and we do that. And goodbye to you. Oops. No, we want that. Nice. And it's a medium rift activity night, so it could get a little dicey out here. But I'm going to continue as long as I can without getting mobbed. And we'll see what we can do. And I hear the sound of a rift, so that is our sign to break this off until morning. And we are back out on this still blizzardy. I would say again blizzardy, but it is just still blizzardy. It has not stopped doing this for like, I don't know, 6 days. So let's get our lantern in hand for better visibility. And let's get back to what we were doing. So here, thinking we take these across, we pop these out a bit, and we will drop you there and you there. And I think I want to sort of show an example of what the roof would look like then. Now we are a little short on slate stones. But I have a pickaxe with me and I know where I can get some. And pretty close by too. Right here. Okay, let's get to it. So this roofing, I think I would like to do just like this. And we'll have it come out over that edge of the barn and then stick out one more. So something like this. Oh right, and the window. And can you go in this side? Yes. We're not done yet. So we do that, and then what we can do, with this granite rock, we can take it in our inventory, and if we put the chisel above it, and the hammer above that, we can turn these into polished granite rock. And these look quite distinct. Each of the polished rock types looks quite different from its normal variant. So if we drop this here, and we can put you on top, as you can see, it's sort of darker, and it has this sort of square edge to it, this sort of fake bezel shadow. So I wanted to use this as sort of the foundation here, right in here. Let's get the shovel out. Drop these in. There we go. And then I was thinking we top it off with these cranberry bushes right in the front. And I realize that that means we're not going to really see these granite rocks much, but I wanted it for completion and so I wouldn't have just dirt sitting under here. But yes, so this is sort of one section of the barn, and I'm thinking just a 45-degree roof to the center. And we will do something different along this wall. And I'm seeing that there are no animals coming to our troughs just yet, so I might go and lay out a few extras around the area. See if we can lure a few more in from farther away. So in order to lure these out from farther away, I'm going to just take these troughs and we're going to go out about 45 blocks from here, the barn, in each direction. We'll just put this here, and we'll put one serving of food in there. And then we'll come down here, and I'll put you there. And we'll just put you here. And we will just put you here. If anything picks up on the food in these troughs, they'll come, they'll eat the food, and they'll hang out, they'll wander. And next time they're hungry, they should still be in the area. They should pick up the food in there and wander toward it. And eventually, we will get all of our sheep and pigs into the barn. And if we don't get any pigs or sheep by the time we're done with the barn, which may be a few days yet, then I may resort to Plan B, which is smack an animal and run. Okay, well, Good morning, everyone. We have a wonderful rift right outside our vineyard. Good job, lights, keeping those rifts away. I don't see any action on the troughs yet, but that's okay. We're going to just focus on this barn build and get more of this just put in, plopped down, and ready to rumble. And now we've been working on this barn for 3 days. Our prepared hide is ready in this weak tannin barrel. So we're going to go ahead and take our hides out. We're going to close that inventory. And we're going to drop them into the strong tannin and we'll seal it. And in the evening we'll come back and we will refill this guy and move these hides over into that barrel. But I want to get a little bit more done on the barn. At this point, I realized my tools had all worn down to nubs, and it became apparent that I hadn't done nearly enough resource gathering for this project. First, I solved the tool problem. And here's the one issue I've seen with deferred lighting on, with the mod we talked about earlier, which is that things that should glow just don't glow as brightly unless they're an actual light source. With tools solidifying in their molds, I dug out some blue clay for the roof. Then, since I needed more tools and was out of fuel, I made more charcoal. A lot more this time. This is what a charcoal pit should look like. With the charcoal burning, I mined up 9 more stacks of slate stones for the shingles. This still wasn't enough, and I went on another shingle gathering spree later on. While I was doing that, though, I did stumble across a little bit of lead I missed the first time around. Then it was time for even more tools, as I had just burned through almost 2 pickaxes mining the slate, and my axe from chopping down trees. Bronze Age when? Then I discovered that a ewe had followed the trough/breadcrumb trail and had wandered her way into the barn overnight. Then it was back to laying down shingles and getting this barn finished. There were a few more resource gathering trips and misadventures throughout this process, so many that there was too much to fit into one video. I recorded almost 3.5 hours of video for this episode, mostly to be able to grab clips for the building montages and in case anything interesting happened. I know you guys all want to see me die again. That's just funny stuff. Since we're having trouble getting a male bighorn sheep, I think I'm going to show you the method for quickly and perhaps violently getting them where you want them to go. Hey buddy, smack. Hate me. Come on buddy. Do you hate me yet? I'm going to smack you in the butt. I'm going to smack you in the butt. I'm going to do it again. There we go. Oh, come on. Boop. Come on. There we go. Alright, he's good and mad at us now. Now we're a good deal faster than him because we're a hunter. So let's lead him on a merry chase. Ooh. Down here, buddy. Whoop! Don't get stuck. Woo! He got us good there. And away we go. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Yeah, we're going to go this way. We're going to go up here. And over here. And he's in. We have our mated pair of janky, angry, bighorn sheep. We can close up their side of the pen now. And there we go. 2 sheep. Now, caring for your animals and getting them started down the process of breeding is pretty simple. All you need are troughs and food. And of course, a mated pair of whatever animal you want to breed. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring this trough down to here. And they are doing some kind of weird dance. We're going to go ahead and fill this guy. There we go. And then I'm going to drop this in here because he should be good with us now. He's cool. All right. We're going to fill this guy up. I'm going to quickly exit the pen. You'll see the female has a number of portions eaten and whether or not she's ready to mate. Ready to mate is simply a timer based on the last time they mated, but a female needs 10 portions eaten in order to mate. A male only needs 1, and therefore it's not really tracked. And all we do now is wait. Eventually she'll eat, the male will mate with her, and it should be noted that you didn't know it, but sheep are actually sea urchins because the male can mate with the female up to 10 blocks away. That's 10 meters. I'm not going to think about it. Also, don't forget to keep your animal pens well lit. All neutral animals like sheep, chickens, hares, and so on, they need a minimum level of light where they will die. This is to keep animals from wandering into caves and never despawning and clogging up the spawn cap. So make sure you light things up, because if they go for more than, I think, about a day without light, they'll start saying in the tooltip, not enough light, might die soon. And then after another day or so, they will despawn. So, keep things lit. Okay, back to work on the barn. We are actually getting pretty close to being finished. Well everyone, after almost a month in-game and about 5 hours of real time, the barn is finally finished. Let's take a look at it. So on the front here we have our little cranberry bushes, and we have the sort of recessed stone archway, and these are all chiseled blocks right up in here. And I have this same pattern over all of these little bays. We have oak log supports and cross beams. And around the sides we have more of a stone face with a bit of chisel work here to get this sort of extra depth. And then we have these sort of fence gates for letting all the stinky animal air out. And then more oak logs above. And I've chiseled these sort of so that they're more like half blocks sticking out. That way they don't quite line up with the roof, and the roof can hang over them and shade them from rain and snow. The back is the same as the front, and this side is still open because we haven't gotten our pigs yet. So I'm going to try to find some pigs at some point, and we'll lure them this way and right into the barn. And I might do that off camera because it's the same process as getting the sheep in. So in here we have our 2 sheep on their strewn straw floor, and they have eaten all of their food, and our bighorn ewe is now pregnant. So in, I think it's about 2 months, I want to say 20 days, she'll give birth to a single lamb. And we won't know what the sex of the lamb is until it grows up, but I'm hoping for more ewes, because as the animals grow up in generation, they become more and more docile, and eventually the rams will stop headbutting you, and you can actually milk these for, well, milk. Up in the loft, we don't have a whole lot yet, aside from the loft itself. I might sprinkle some hay bales, maybe some extra storage around here. I'm not quite sure what I want to use this for yet, but we do have a little bit of room to play with. Oop, I missed a block. Heh. We'll fix that. But I have more sort of open air windows / grates here to let the stinky animal farts out. And we have some dormers here. I thought that the roof looked a little flat, so I sort of snuck in these dormers on the roof to give us some more definition, and I kind of like how it turned out. Anyway, everyone, that is all we have time for this episode. I hope you enjoyed our adventure in building this barn, and all of the resource gathering that went into it. As always, my name has been Corazar. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.